Hey everybody, my name is G Marks and welcome to this webinar all about AI and impacting your business. Before I get started, just a quick true-false question for you. Every year since 2005, Sweden's animal diving contest attracts millions of viewers and fans. You think that's true or false? Turns out it's true. In case you guys haven't seen it, this is just clips from last year's contest. Right? Pretty amazing. Yeah, the zebra one is pretty good as well. There's one with a gorilla, but we won't stick around, for that. Listen, AI is great. It's a lot of fun. That was obviously a deep fake. There was no diving contest in Sweden last year. And, when people are using AI, they're using it for all sorts of different purposes and funds. They're creating incredible images using Google products, for example. In addition, if you go on, any type of imagery or video creation product, people are able to take this just with like specific prompts and commands and really create some really amazing stuff with AI. And then of course people can have fun with it as well. So if you go on TikTok or Instagram, you will see lots of posts, like this of guys recreating movie sets with some of his movie star heroes as well and putting himself in that. It's all fun, it's all games, it's all a lot of fun to do and all that kind of stuff. But we're not here to have fun today, okay? We're here to talk about business. So as I said at the very beginning, my name is Gene Marks. And, besides speaking and writing on a bunch of different topics, for the past 20 years, I've been covering technology for Forbes. And no big surprise, in just the past 2 to 3 years, most of the writing that I've been doing has been related to AI. And this is not a personal AI. I have not been writing about, using AI to create recipes for chicken pot pie or plan out your next vacation. My focus is on business, particularly small and mid-sized businesses. And what I've been doing is covering AI and where it is working, where it is not working, how people are using it, how people are investing in it, where people are not investing in it as well, the successes of it and the failures of it. That's what I've been covering in Forbes. Those are what the articles are all about. And these are the things that I'm going to be talking about with you today. So if you are a small business owner or even running a medium-sized business and you've been hearing from everybody about AI and you need to implement it in your business and you need to be using it, most of my clients, most of my readers are like, I don't even understand what that means. What do I do? Where do I get started? How do I employ AI in my business? Where's the, how is that technically, possible for me to do? So what I want to do is I want to share with you over the next 45 minutes or so what I'm covering and what I'm writing about, where AI is evolving into the world so that you can walk away from this presentation specifically knowing how you can employ AI in your business so that you can actually get higher productivity gains and hopefully more profitability as well. Now, also keep in mind, the conversation we're having right now is being recorded in the middle year of 2026. I can guarantee you within the next year it's probably going to be out of date. So hopefully Thryv will bring me back to give you some updates and talk about where this is all going, because it is all going in different places. And again, I do want to thank my friends at Thryv for putting this on, because they know how important AI. They know that with their application and their platform, which is really focused at small business owners, particularly people that provide home-based services as well, they provide all of the different types of CRM and billing and social media management and website building, as well as automations as well. They are leveraging AI to help their customers be more productive and profitable as well. And that is why they wanted to bring me in to talk to you guys about this, because this is really something that is very, very near and dear to their heart and near and dear to my heart as well. And it should be near and dear to your heart too. So let me share with you your AI strategies for this year. And again, none of this was created by myself. I didn't come up with any of this individually. This is all like just what I am reporting on for Forbes. This is what I am seeing American businesses doing in 2026 to make sure that they are keeping up and adopting and maximizing the use of AI in their business. So, number one, I would be remiss and irresponsible if I did not at least address the risk of AI. The bottom line is that AI has many, many risks related around it, but there are also, like life, many rewards based on those risks. But you need to know what those risks are, and let me go through just a few of the most significant ones with you. The first is the risk of misinformation. Misinformation is basically where an AI application takes some information and skews it just a little bit to match what the user wants to see. I mean, the best example obviously we see is in political messages and ads on social media, Instagram or TikTok posts as well. A lot of different things that we see and wonder if it is actually true in reality. A lot of times if it's done really, really well, it can seem like it's reality, but it's really sort of a misinformed basis of reality. Elon Musk is one person that considers misinformation to be the biggest risk for, that is affecting AI. And the examples that he gives is like, what if, because AI platforms learn and they're constantly learning and constantly evolving. And, his concern is that an AI platform would be taught that, misrepresenting somebody's gender is more substantial or critical than launching a nuclear bomb, So if the AI platform is not learning the right information or is being given misinformation, then the results can be, potentially catastrophic. So big concern of his. Same thing is with hallucinations. Whenever you hear the word hallucination, it really only means one thing, and it's this: it's wrong. People like myself who have been in the technology industry for a number of years, we hate to admit that we're wrong about anything. It's always the software's fault. It's always the hardware's fault. It's always like something with the network or security or something like that. It's the same thing when it comes to AI. I mean, AI is a software developer's tool, so it's being developed by individuals, and these are technology people. So when AI comes back with the wrong results or posts incorrect answers, instead of just admitting that, well, it's wrong and we screwed it up, you're going to hear from most people saying, well, it's just hallucinating. Whenever you hear hallucinating, it's wrong, okay? It is not right. Now, the level of hallucinations themselves have decreased over the years as AI systems have become more and more knowledgeable, but it's never going to go away. Even your best and most smartest assistant in your office is always, is going to get something wrong some of the time, and the same thing with any AI platform. So you want to do your best to make sure that you are verifying and validating whatever is coming out of an AI platform. There's also control or lack of control. There is not a week that goes by that I'm not getting a press release or news about some drone that is flying around and killing people without any human oversight, or robotics that are out there and doing work that are turning around and then starting to punch little children because there was no control over it and it's doing something on its own. Keeping AI and AI systems under human control is always going to be a big battle over the next few years, if not decade, and that is another big risk. There's also the risk of bias. AI, again, is a software developer's tool, which means it's written by software developers, and software developers are humans, and humans are biased. So in your business, if you are using AI for anything that might be HR related, be very, very careful. In fact, there are some states that have legislation right now that limit the use of using AI platforms in hiring decisions, for example, or even giving out customer information if you have not taken the right precautions to make sure that the system you're using is not making decisions based on its own biases. So be very careful about AI bias. And then, of course, there's job loss, which is obviously the biggest, the biggest factor that so many people are worried about. So a few words on job loss, okay? First of all, just to be clear, AI is going to replace jobs. There is no question about that. Technology throughout history has replaced jobs. I mean, back in the 19th century, there were people climbing up on street lamps in London to turn them on and turn them off at the beginning of the day. In Paris, there were people that would go and knock on people's windows to wake them up in the morning. I mean, I don't see that many blacksmiths around recently, unless you go to Colonial Williamsburg. I'm not looking at many typing pools that are around. These things are eliminated by technology. Technology replaces people. But the impact of AI and when it, and how it will have its effect on jobs still really remains to be seen. This is a chart that comes from Anthropic, the guys that make Claude. Anthropic recently, they released this about 2 months ago. The blue areas is where they expect AI is going to ultimately affect people and jobs. The red area is where it's affected it already. And no surprise, where jobs are being affected are mostly more like in digital type of jobs, things like accounting and even engineering and analytics and customer service and software development. These are the things where AI is going to have a significant impact on employment there. Conversely, the jobs that require more human involvement and hands-on production work, healthcare work, construction work as well, much less impact by AI, both now and in the future. So AI is definitely going to have an impact on those jobs. That's what we are looking at over the next 5 to 10 years, but some jobs are going to be impacted more than others. To me, I always have a lot of faith in what humans are doing. I mean, as AI becomes more and more expensive, bigger companies right now, and this is what I am reporting on, are finding it that it's becoming more costly to employ AI with the cost of their tokens and the cost of their implementation and the cost of their mistakes, that many big companies from Uber to Microsoft to Cigna to JP Morgan are finding that some of their AI systems themselves are actually costing them more than just using actual people to do the work. So again, jury is still out on that. And the jury is still out on what kind of jobs will still be around even years from now. I mean, you look at this list. I mean, these are all jobs that did not exist just 20 years ago. I mean, if you were to tell anybody back then that you were a wellness coach or you were a cannabis compliance officer, I mean, they would laugh you right out. I mean, but now obviously all of the, and by the way, this is just, I could have multiple slides of jobs and job titles that humans find things to do to keep them busy, I mean, I am a CPA, so the tax code when it first came out in the beginning of the 20th century was only a couple dozen pages long. Now we know the tax code and all the narrative around it is millions of pages. So people seem to find things to do. I mean, it's just I don't seem to have that kind of concern about whether or not people are going to be employed. People are going to be doing something to keep them busy, but people will be, adapting to it. Not all people will adapt. There will be some people that aren't going to get it or are going to adapt to this new environment. But I do have confidence that most workers and most people are going to be finding other stuff to do. But having said that, job loss is a big risk for AI. Data centers are a big risk for AI as well. You hear that in the news all the time, and it's true because data centers themselves take up a lot of land, provide very little jobs, but also consume a lot of energy and take up a lot of absorption from the environment. The good news about data centers is that they are getting better. They are getting more efficient. Both hardware, the servers that are running all the AI applications that are out there, and the software that's being used behind it are becoming better and better and more energy efficient and energy compliant, which is good news. But it is certainly a risk that as demand continues to go up for AI and cloud-based applications, these are the kind of things that would be. Which brings me up to the cloud. Because data centers rely on the cloud to operate, and you cannot have AI without that. And by the way, not this cloud, just to make sure, okay? We're talking about the actual global network of cloud-based servers. The cloud-based market itself has increased so substantially that what is projected will have only double-digit increases over time, which means that there is still going to be a lot of demand for data centers and AI to deliver, because AI itself cannot really run right now, at least, so much on your device. It needs the cloud to power it, so that will always be a risk, okay? So we've talked about these big risks, and copyright infringement is another risk, and then there's security and privacy. Everybody brings up the issue of security and privacy when it comes to AI and what the risk is for using AI. So let me explain to you a few things, okay? First of all, when it comes to risk, your data is not secure and your data is not private. If you are using ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot or Gemini or any of the others, they're all relying on the cloud. Your data is going up to them. All the software providers will promise over and over again that your data is encrypted, it's secure, they're not going to do anything with it, they're going to use to train any other systems, nobody can get to it. And yet, every other week, we read about some type of a data breach or some type of a problem or some type of a miscommunication or misunderstanding as to what it was meant by keeping data private. I interview these guys all the time. I've interviewed the CEOs from all the largest tech companies over the past few years. They do make these promises, but I do see a lack of trust that's out there among the users of this. So it's always going to be a risk. But let me make sure that I calm that down just a little bit. For starters, a lot of clients ask me like, oh, it's going to be up on AI, then can my competitor then just go on Claude and find out what my prices are for my customers? Well, in the end, everything is in the cloud as it has been for the past 10 to 15 years. And so far, that hasn't really happened, So there are controls out there. No one is going to go onto Claude and start asking what your pricing is. And number two is, I'm not quite sure many people really care. I mean, maybe a competitor might have an interest in doing that, but the time and effort it would take for them to try and dig out that data from somewhere in the cloud base that's being used on some based on AI platform, which by the way, they don't even know what AI platform you're using. It's just the risk is very, very small. Which brings me to my final comment when it comes to security and privacy and risk overall, okay? All of this has risk. Life has risk. When you go out and you cross the street, you are risking you are going to hit by a bus. When you get on a plane, you are risking that the plane is going to drop out of the sky. When you go and if you eat a Big Mac every week, as delicious as it is, you are taking health risks by doing that. Everything is risk in this life because we are all evaluating risks versus the rewards of living in our life. And what I've learned most from the smartest business owners that I work with is that they are constantly evaluating the risks of the investments they are making and the rewards, the productivity and the profitability that will come from that risk. So I do not want to discount the fact that there is all of these risks, including security and privacy, but at the same time, I want you to be aware, like any good business person, you have to evaluate what the risks are, they're there, and then you have to compare it to the rewards of using AI and the platforms which I'm going to show you soon as to what kind of more profits and productivity you can generate for your business. That decision is up to you. It is a risk-reward decision. Finally, and I just mentioned it earlier, is the risk of deepfakes, which are getting better and better and more convincing that they are real. That is an issue, obviously, and it's a security issue. It's a compliance issue. It is many stories I've already written about how some people have been duped by deepfakes. On the other hand, there is a really good case to be made that deepfakes, particularly on social media, is going to do nothing more than help all of our major media platforms grow and return once again. Why? Because if you see a deepfake that seems surprising to you on TikTok or Instagram, where are you going to go to verify what you're looking at? Say you're seeing something that's of national importance, some news that's coming out of the Middle East, or some video that was recorded, in Ukraine, for example, and you're like, oh my God, this looks terrible. Where are you going to go to validate that? You're probably going to turn to the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal, to AP News, to your local. You're going to have other news resources where there's actual reporting going on that could actually verify or validate whether or not that news actually happened, if that deep fake or if it was just a fake. So I actually think it's good news for media, and I think it's good news for us to make us think a little bit harder and not believe everything that we are seeing. We will get smarter because of deep fakes. So in 2026, AI comes with significant risks, from hallucinations and misinformation to deepfakes, privacy infringement. You got to know what your risks are, and then you got to evaluate what the rewards are for taking those risks. And if the rewards, profitability, productivity are significant, then that is something that you're going to have to make that decision on as a business owner. Okay, so your first strategy is to assess your risk. Your second strategy is this. You want to connect your chatbot to your data, because last year there was poll and survey saying how small businesses were adopting AI. And every time I saw that, I always shook my head, because small business adoption of AI basically means they're monkeying around with Claude or ChatGPT or something in the office. They're asking it questions, they're getting responses. That's fine. That's not really adopting AI. Maybe they're using Copilot to draft a better email or a Word document. That's great. But I mean, it's really not like a core thing. What I'm seeing in 2026, though, is something different. I am seeing many of my business owner clients lean into one of these big players and then connect it to their data, because that is all very, very possible and happening right now. I will give you the example of ChatGPT. If you go into your version of ChatGPT, you will notice that one of the choices that you have on ChatGPT is here, add sources. When you choose to add sources, ChatGPT will give you a bunch of out-of-the-box sources that are available for you to immediately connect to. In fact, it will expand that list to a bunch of sources that impact you as a business owner, besides just like overall, just general personal use. You can connect AI in your business to Gmail, to OneDrive, to Google Drive, to PayPal, to QuickBooks, to Zoom, to Teams, to Outlook. You can be connecting it to all of these different sources all around, which means that when you start asking it questions, you're asking it questions about your data, your business and your system. You're not just asking some general question that's going out to the internet. And that's the trend, and that is what I've been reporting on this year, is that smarter business owners are realizing that they can do this. Now, can't connect to you, say it's not there in this list? Well, keep in mind a few things. Number one, Claude just introduced last month, and again, this is June of 2026, what they call Claude for Small Business. It not only connects to just, I don't even know how many, dozens and dozens of popular small business platforms, but it also comes with out-of-the-box skills that you can start using right away to get you up to speed. Now, say your business application is not on that list. Here's what you want to look for. It's called MCP. Model Context Protocol. It is for those of you guys old enough to remember ODBC as a database connector. This is the database connector from AI into your system. Yes, you have to hire a developer probably or an expert to help you out to do this. It is not very difficult and is becoming easier and easier. And yes, there are security and privacy concerns and all of that all around that. But I just want you to know, if you are using a system, or maybe it's a proprietary, your own system, and it's not part of that list that Anthropic is providing or ChatGPT is provided, don't think that you can't connect to your data, because you can. You will talk to a developer and say, give me about MCP, can we connect to my system? And the answer will almost always be sure, we can do that. Now, once you connect, you can start asking your AI platform questions that you just were not doing a year ago. You can be saying to your AI platform, listen, I'm quoting this customer. Review all prior quotes in this folder of mine and suggest pricing for this product. Or you can say, look, take a look at all my freight invoices that are in this file or in my accounting system. Compare what they bill to our current contract and point out any discrepancies. I guarantee you your platform will come back with many suggestions, findings, inadequacies, math errors, whatever the case may be. You can also ask you, listen, if you're concerned about safety, we have this near-miss incident. Compare it to other incidents that we've had in our company. Compare it to the policies that we have regarding safety and what OSHA says, and come up with a near-miss, like an incident report for me. Or, contracts. There should not be a contract, a quote, an estimate, a proposal, correspondence leaving your company before you have your AI platform check it out first. Review this contract. What issues should I be concerned about? Where am I liable? What am I missing? Compare it to other similar contracts with this customer or this partner. It will do that. It will make good suggestions for you and save you money. Finally, there's health insurance. So you've got a folder of all of your health insurance claims. You've got your health insurance contracts. Health insurance rates are plaguing small businesses all around the country. You want to keep your health insurance to a minimum. A meeting with our health benefits firm. Review our current group insurance plan documents. Suggest ways I can make these plans more affordable for my business. These are all the things that you can do once you connect your AI platform to your data. That is something you want to do this year. And finally, when it comes to your accounting system, once you connect your AI platform to QuickBooks, Xero, Thryv, for example, as well as Epicor, Sage, Dynamics, any of these, which customers are at least profitable. Compare my residential and commercial business for profitability. What was our gross margin last quarter on my 10 biggest jobs? Create a graph showing me pricing trends of thermocore insulated doors, if that's one of your products. Show me my 10 slowest paying accounts. Obviously it's endless, the number of queries that you can do. This is where it's going. I mean, Microsoft released this recently, showing a demonstration of how Copilot is being used as a natural language vehicle for just getting data out of your system. So when you use Copilot, you can basically say, help me build a report summarizing the profile of customers who match this criteria, and summarize it in this way and display it in this way. And boom, it will create the report for you. So no more sorting, no more filtering, no more waiting for a report to be generated and sent to you. It is all natural language querying into it. That's what you get when you connect your AI platform into your data. So I hope that makes sense, and it's something that you want to do this year, okay? Remember what people at Thryv said, small business, they have all this data that's sitting in their CRM, their scheduling system, their customer history, and they're not getting any intelligence out of it. Connecting AI to that data is exactly what changes the game. Exactly, okay? So make sure that you are doing that. Another thing you want to do with your AI platform, now that you've got it and you're using it, you take advantage of agent mode. All of these platforms come with agent mode. What does that mean? Well, here's my example. I have ChatGPT, and I did a screen share of this, just a video of it. I went into my ChatGPT, I chose agent mode, and then basically I just said, just a simple example, go to my website, download my CRM comparison white paper, and send it to my email address. And by the way, what you're looking at now, I'm doing nothing. Like, I backed away, my device is just running on its own, doing its thing, and basically you can see it's navigating to my website, it's finding the white paper, it's asking the question, it's putting in my email address, it's just doing it all on its own. It's an agent. You have this now. If you have any of these AI platforms, this is the stuff that it's coming out of the box with it. And if you don't, when you connect to other systems like Gusto is an example, they're a payroll system, you can now use and connect Gusto to ChatGPT, and on a mobile device, run your payroll, because it's using an agent to do that. It's querying back and forth different questions about your payroll system, which you are answering. And then once it's done and it's approved and all that, it just does it. It's just a natural language interface for getting your payroll done, which means you don't have to have an office manager or payroll or an HR manager do this. You can be doing this on your own once you start connecting and using the agents that come with these platforms. And then, of course, your choices just go beyond all of that. So you can set up agents in any of these platforms to check government sites and notify you or even place orders. You can check it to check your competitor websites. It can give you updates if there's any increases on materials, give you updates on security, give you updates on safety, give you updates on weather. Whenever there's a supplier website that you're going to frequently, you can set up an agent to just, here's an agent to go to my website for this supplier that I'm using every month, and just automatically place the order. I don't forget it, I'm done. It's just doing it for me. Or give you things like regional news, for your supply chain. All of these things are out of the box and included with your AI platform. So that's what I am seeing business owners doing this year. They are using agents, and they are using their data to get some performance from their AI platform. So in 2026, connect your AI chatbot to your data. Start using both prompts and agents to provide better information and automation, okay? So you want to use AI? That's one way you can be using AI in your business, okay? Another way to be using AI in your business, and this can be in addition to connecting to your platform, is looking at your existing software. I mean, I am going to guess that you as a business owner are either using Microsoft Office or Google Workspace in your business, right? Well, I mean, these two platforms come out of the box with either Copilot for Microsoft or Gemini for Google, and that is their AI agents and their AI capabilities. You're probably not even using that or taking advantage of it. I mean, just to give you some examples, this is Google's Gmail. Our inbox that you are looking at right now is going to change significantly over the next couple of years. Right now, they're introducing their AI inbox. This is how your inbox will look within the next 2 years. No more listing of emails here. Instead, when you open up Gmail, it will just go to all of your inbox emails and summarize them for you with links to the individual emails if you want to get to them. But for the most part, you might as well start getting used to that now, because that is coming whether you like it or not. In addition, if you are using either Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Presents, this works in PowerPoint really, really well. You can have a PowerPoint presentation and start it up and say, listen, create a presentation based on this Word document, go and do it. And when you give it instructions, it automatically creates this presentation for you. And then you can talk to it and you can say to it, hey, listen, add in a new slide about sustainable materials, and it will automatically do that for you as well. Or you can say add some, make this look prettier because it needs to be spruced up a little bit, and it does. And then you can say, add some animation to it as well, and it will. It's like having like a PowerPoint expert sitting in front of you, you're giving it instructions. If you have people in your marketing department or in your office that are spending time with PowerPoint now, it takes them hours to do, as they're futzing around with it. This kind of stuff reduces your time, like almost in half. More time to spend on something else, more productivity and more profitability as well. The same thing when it comes to finding files in your system. Now I'm using this example of OneDrive, okay? So I have this is a file, I had an ad out for a developer for my company. I got a bunch of resumes in. They're sitting there in a file. I selected all the guys, all the ones in my file, and then I'm basically go through all the resumes in this folder and list them out in an Excel table based on their experience and including other information. And it just goes, it reads all of those PDFs, and it just creates that table for me. So I don't know. I mean, that would have taken me half an hour to do. I'd open up a spreadsheet and add in there and all. Now it's just doing that for me automatically. So it's increasing my productivity. And when it comes to spreadsheets as well, we're Copilot, and again, it's the same thing in Google Sheets with Gemini. No more do you have to waste time building spreadsheets. So this is like a spreadsheet with raw data. Now with Copilot and Gemini, you can just say, hey, clean up this data set, standardize the formatting, fixing the inconsistent entries, organize it into a clear table. Boom, it just does. Like you give it the instructions and it just creates that for you. I mean, it would have taken you, I don't know, 10 minutes to do this, 20 minutes. I mean, it depends on, but I'm not done. You can then also say to it like, hey, listen, I have this spreadsheet here as well. So create a formula to calculate a total profit for each event based on the revenue and cost. And it does, just creates that formula for you. And then you can say, hey, create a bar chart showing total profit by event and highlight the highest and lowest performing events. And it creates the bar charts for you. Like right back in the day, 6 months ago, we were like in a spreadsheet and we were having to create the bar chart or add up the file, reformat the column. Now you're just giving it natural language instructions. Add another Kids Adventure Pack event on March 3rd and up the table totals and bar chart, and it just adds it, updates everything, does the thing. You're giving it instructions doing it, right? Think about how much time this saves you. You're not doing this. I know it. You're not doing this. You're not doing this in Workspace, and you're not doing it in Office, and you're wasting money. You've got AI here in your hands, and you're not taking advantage of it for your business. And one final example, after you do all of this, you could say, highlight the key takeaways and insights based on this data, and it will give you its insights and takeaways for whatever it's worth. Maybe it's good information, maybe it's not helpful, but it's yet another set of eyes that's looking at that data for you, right? Then, whether you're using Teams or you're using Meet, are you using the automatic AI translator? So that means that you could be talking to suppliers and customers and partners anywhere in the world. I mean, dozens of languages are supported, and it's real-time translation using AI, right? So, this woman's speaking in Spanish, the other woman's speaking in English. They're able to talk as if they're like right in front of each other. I mean, imagine if people had this technology even 5 years ago. It is fast, it is correct, it doesn't hallucinate very often. It's very, very good. So you've got all that. In addition to that, when we talk about leaning into your applications, I'm seeing a number of businesses start to adopt virtual receptionists in their business. And there are a number of really good applications that do just that. And remember, using MCP, you can extract information from these virtual receptionists that are recording all of these calls into transcripts to be using for reporting and your CRM system and your back and forth. Virtual receptionists, I'm seeing, has been exploding among small businesses, and I've been talking to a lot of businesses about that. So we've talked about the risks. We've talked about connecting your AI chatbot to your data. We've also talked about underutilizing your existing applications for AI. So you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of that. So assess the risks, connect your chatbot to your data, lean into existing software vendors, and then you want to consider building. Let me give you some thoughts on building your own application. Talking to you about this about a year ago wasn't as easy to do. Now I am seeing more and more businesses build their own application to address low-hanging fruit with some type of an AI-based solution, okay? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this, but just a few months ago, major software companies took a huge hit to their valuation. We're talking Salesforce, Adobe, all these guys, because as Anthropic released their Claude code and ChatGPT, OpenAI released their Codex, it became a lot easier for just common people to vibe code and create their own applications. So a lot of people are saying, well, why do I want to spend all this this money on this existing software platform when I can just hire somebody to do something at 1/10 of the cost using an AI platform. It's why I wrote in Forbes why you might not want to consider buying business software this year, because all the changes that are going on. So say you do want to build something yourself. Say you do want to have your own project. It is doable. It is something that you can do this year. And let me just make sure that I can explain to you how it is. By the way, nothing's easy in this life. So I don't want to say it's easy to do. It's just doable, okay? So first of all, when you do your discovery, the most important thing you can do is to identify an actual business problem. And what you want to do is you want to choose something that's low-hanging fruit that you can address right away with an AI application. Let me give you some of those examples based on some of the projects that we're working on right now for our clients, right? Inventory optimization, right? You're like, hey, I just want to make sure my level's all the same. I want to have automatic reordering. I want to be able to forecast what my inventory levels should be. I want to know what I should be ordering in advance so I don't have too much inventory on hand, right? Well, based on your inventory system that you're keeping, whatever accounting system that you're using, connect Claude to it, start asking those questions, okay? You can do that and build some custom prompts to do just that. In addition, I'm seeing more and more clients using video devices to do their inventories. So this is not a client of ours, but something that we're working on separately, where you can take the actual camera and it's looking at the inventory and it's doing cycle counting or physical counting of your inventory without a human being having to do it and making mistakes. In addition, I am seeing many clients now start to adopt drones in their warehouses powered by AI. And I can recommend companies that offer this kind of service, but the drones themselves cost around $10,000 to $20,000. They're just buzzing around. They are using barcodes. They're doing cycle countings, and they're integrated by AI directly back to your accounting system so that you have a real-time accounting all the time. Not only that, but the drones are actually checking for security and any messes on the floor, or this is certainly more safe to have a drone count these items on a top shelf than having one of your employees go and fall off a forklift trying to do the same thing. And I am seeing more and more of my clients, and this is taken from a client, that are using autonomous vehicles to go around their warehouse. They can learn the terrain much easier than a vehicle driving around Pittsburgh or Cleveland, and they're delivering materials and also checking for security and safety issues as well. So I'm seeing more and more from the AI side of doing that. So optimizing inventory is one use case. Like, one of those things might be important to you, okay? Or doing estimating and proposals, right? Generating automatically, listening in on a conversation from one of those virtual receptionists and then automatically creating a proposal based on it. We have one client that has a showroom. They sell windows and doors. They walk around with the device, and the device itself is listening to their phone. There's an AI application on it. It's listening to the conversation that the salesperson is having with a prospective customer. And when that conversation is over, boom, it automatically creates a quote for it that the salesperson reviews and then sends out. But it saves the salesperson so much time from having to go back to the desk and do all that. We are now evolving that application so it starts making suggestions. So as the salesperson is talking to that customer and saying, oh, you're interested in this window or this door, the application is buzzing the salesperson saying, make sure you suggest this accessory, or ask them if they'd like this type of upgrade to their finish, So the salesperson itself is getting coached as they go around and they are talking to the prospective customer. If you think that's important to you, you can do that too. In addition, product and pricing recommendations, right? So, again, when a customer service person or a salesperson is talking to somebody on the phone, your AI application is listening in and automatically making suggestions for add-on products or, other products and accessories that would make the most sense. In addition, if you want to connect AI to your machines, I'm seeing a bunch of examples of this all over the place. So now, because most machines are coming with Internet of Things technology They have the capability for people to write applications that can detect pressure issues, temperature issues, moisture issues, vibrations as well, and send that data back to whoever needs to know about that data so they can do maintenance and repairs and make sure that they're up to date on that. If that is an issue for you, if you have machines out in a production plant and you need to make sure they are like monitored 24/7 and remediated whenever there is an issue, well, I got an AI application that can do that for you as well. It's something that you can absolutely build, okay? In addition, if you are the type of company that dispatches workers, there's an AI application, can look at your calendar, can look at your database of customers, can look at your email system as well, and then based on openings and the location of the customer, automatically add scheduled appointments, visits, installation, repairs, whatever, directly to your calendar. If that's a low-hanging fruit, you can develop that for yourself as well. And then there are just chatbots, right? So I mean, like, you know, if people go to your website and they need answers to questions, why can't they just go and get the answers directly off your website? An AI application can do that too. There's also knowledge bases for all of your HR techs and your customer service. Take all of your technical manuals, all of the things you've written up before, all the specifications, all the spec sheets that you have. You put it all in one place in a folder, and then you connect Claude to it or ChatGPT, and then you develop a very easy interface so that anybody internally or externally can ask questions and get answers technically about the products that you sell. And then of course there's just overall drone management and safety and surveillance systems that I'm seeing. Now I am seeing more and more clients also use AI in virtual glasses. And these things have grown in popularity because they're using it to go onto construction sites, through production facilities, through construction, through areas for training as well, and therefore they can like be looking at it and identify it. So you're looking for an application, maybe you've got a safety issue in your business, you want to improve safety in your warehouse. I have one client that developed something for Vision Pro, which is one of the devices out there. It's an Apple device where you just a high school kid can walk around the warehouse and be looking at what's here, and it's comparing what it's seeing to an OSHA database and automatically flagging if there is a potential safety issue. All of these things are relatively inexpensive, and frankly, the best looking ones are coming out of Meta nowadays, the Orion product line, using like a Ray-Ban look. They're almost looking more and more normal, because these things tend to look like a spacesuit. So the Meta Ray-Bans are also looking really good. My only beef with that is that they kind of picked the wrong guy to model it, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so in addition, this is taken out of a client of mine in North Jersey. These are automated forklifts. They are autonomous forklifts going around their warehouse. If you notice, there are no drivers on these forklifts, which means that there is no health insurance, there is no retirement plans, there's no PTO, there's no workers' compensation. They have been trained over months to know what their route is, and when there's a skid or a pallet of stuff that needs to be picked up, the forklift picks it up and knows to take it to another certain place within its warehouse. That is all something that is real. And then there is also stuff with safety as well. Today's surveillance systems that are available are constantly looking at what's going on in a warehouse, and they are seeing where there is an issue or not and immediately reporting it. So these two guys crashing into each other. By the way, it's a little bit more in a coachable event, but that is being seen, recognized by this AI surveillance system and put back into a database and alerted so that this company's safety committee can do something about it. And then speaking of safety and just searching, this comes from Boston Dynamics, up in New England. They have something called Spot Their Robot. This is a $150,000 dog. But what it does is it goes all around production facilities and construction sites that might be too dangerous for it to send a human out there. It has got all sorts of sensors, both audio and visual, and that can detect just about anything, and then turn around and alert and inspect, check for security, check for safety as well. That has been something that has become more and more popular from Boston Dynamics. So identify that impact, that business problem, okay? Pick some low-hanging fruit, pick something that can just be knocked out with it. The examples I've just been giving you, like the wall and doors, example where the people, that was like a $10,000 solution. I mean, it's not that big a deal. And once you have that, this guy is seeing multiple. I mean, he's not concerned about privacy. He is more excited that for $10,000, he's getting $50,000 more in sales because the salespeople are more productive, okay? He can assume the risks of using AI. He's happy with doing that. You want to identify your own high impact business problem, and then we can develop, or anybody can develop, an application to address it. Assess your data readiness. Evaluate your potential partners, and there are a lot of them that are out there. Many developers now are proficient in either using Claude Code or Codex from OpenAI. But just so you know, the list of add-ons and developer tools have just been exploding. And I'm just like including a few of them here, just so you know, they're all over the place. This slide I could have even shown you a year and a half ago. It has just grown so much more. So there are a lot of tools that are out there that a good developer can use to help you do what you want to do, okay? In your second month, you'll have a pilot launch. You'll implement the solution. You'll train your staff on it. You'll establish, what your KPIs would be, like, what type of metrics you want to follow to make sure that you are, that this thing is indicating, like the walls and doors guy. My KPI was to double my sales, and as it turned out, he's like quadrupling his sales, quintupling his sales because of it. So there's that, and then you obviously measuring those KPIs. And then finally, you want to evaluate. So you will determine what your ROI is after 90 days. That's in your third month. You will get feedback from all of your customers. And then if things are good and you're liking what you're doing, you're going to develop a roadmap for doing more. Just like the guy in the showroom is saying, we have in our roadmap, we want our AI application to be now giving product recommendations to our salespeople. So that's your typical product. That's how it works, okay? So this is not a huge thing for a lot of businesses to undertake, and I am seeing more and more small businesses this year start to do just that. And when it comes to finding resources and developers to help you, trust me, you've been reading the news about all those developers that have been laid off from Meta and Google and Microsoft or whatever. Don't feel bad. They've got a lot of skills. They're out there, and they're being snapped up by the 34 million small businesses that are all looking for AI solutions to some of their problems, okay? So you're going to assess your risks. You're going to connect your AI chatbot to your data. You're going to lean into your existing software vendors, and you're going to build your AI application. And finally, before I wrap things up, you need to have an AI policy in your business. An AI policy is a written policy that goes into your employee handbook that states out what AI can be used for, what it can't be used for, what AI applications are approved, what is not approved, what departments are allowed to use it or individuals, what departments or individuals are not allowed to be used it, fair use of AI, data governance as well. There's a lot of stuff to do, okay? You want to have that written policy. Why? Because if somebody misuses AI in your company, and somebody will use some rogue application using AI, and you get in trouble by your customer or somebody from the outside, if they did something that was against your policy, you've got some protection here. So you want to make sure you have a written AI policy this year. Where do you go to create an AI policy? AI, okay? I mean, like, go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot or Grok and ask it, this is my company, this is what we're doing, this is how we're using AI, this is what we want to do with it. Create an AI policy that will protect us. It will create a darn good one. And it'll get you to the red zone. You'll then take that policy and then run it by your attorneys, by your consultants, by your IT experts. You'll tweak it up and make sure that it's good, and then you'll issue it. 6 months later, you're going to upload that same policy back to your AI platform and have it come back and say, here's some updates that you should be making to it. That's your strategy for 2026. Again, I come and talk to you guys next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. These strategies are going to change a little bit, but this is what it is right now and currently. So we'll wrap things up, okay? AI itself comes with significant risks, okay? I went through all of them. When it comes to privacy, confidentiality, security, your data is not private, it is not confidential, and it is not secure. It's pretty close, but there's no guarantees of anything. In the end, you have to evaluate the risks and the rewards of using these systems, and that decision is going to be up to you. You want to make sure, as soon as you're done with this presentation, pull up Claude, ChatGPT, whatever, start connecting it to your data, and then start querying your data to be using it to help you do analysis and answer questions that's going on in your business. If you can't connect it to, there's not something out of the box, look for MCP, Model Context Protocol, and hire a developer. It won't cost you that much to make that connection for you. You're probably using or underusing the AI capabilities in your existing applications, Office, Workspace. You don't know it. Get some training, okay? Understand what you have. Start leaning into the capabilities of Office to do PowerPoints and create emails and using Excel. Get your employees trained. Everybody's terrified about AI. The more they learn how easier it'll make their jobs and more productive they are and give them more balance in their lives, the less terrified they will be and the more productive they will be and the more profitable you will be as well. It's become significantly easier to build AI applications that address specific business use cases. And finally, create an AI policy this year and regularly update it. Those are the pieces of advice I have for you now. That's what's going on in 2026. And again, this is not coming from me as an individual. This is just what I'm reporting on for Forbes. This is what I'm seeing smart businesses do this year, okay? What's next and beyond? According to Deloitte in their last annual tech trends report at the end of last year, and they're right, most AI is just going to be unseen. It is almost like you get on a plane and it's taking you wherever it's taking you. You don't really know how a plane works. You don't know what the pilot does. You just take me there. That's all I want to know. That is really what AI is going to be all about in the future. It will be do things behind the scenes. It'll be operating on devices, operating in software. It'll just become more and more pervasive as part of our life, but it will be just a natural thing. It'll just be happening behind the scenes, and that's just what it is. So, for a perfect example, I was telling you need to upload your contracts or quotes or proposals to your AI platform to make sure that it's okay. It'll be doing that automatically before you know it, okay? So before you even issue a quote, some AI bot is going to be reviewing it automatically for you and saying, like, oh, before you issue this, you want to make sure that you address these issues, So it will happen in the background. Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. I mean, he is very bullish. He said at the end of December 2024 that super intelligence may be 1,000 days away, which could massively accelerate scientific discovery and innovation well beyond what we're capable of doing on our own. It's going to massively increase abundance and prosperity, which, by the way, he's the CEO of OpenAI, which makes ChatGPT. That is exactly what you want to hear from him, right? Like if he were to come out and say like it's going to destroy the world or we're all going to die, probably would not make you feel very good. But the fact that it's coming from him and that's what he's saying, that is good news. So you take it with a grain of salt, okay? Not everyone might agree, but it is, that is the way he is feeling. Again, I want to thank Thryv. If you are using Thryv and you're a user, you probably want to get more training and more understanding of all the products that you have because you're probably underutilizing it like most of my clients. So just be aware that it has so many of these great features that can be used within your business that, look through this list and make sure that you're taking fully advantage of it. Schedule some time to get trained and updated on this product so that you are using it the best way possible. And then make sure that you're aware of all the different AI developments that Thryv is going to be introducing that they've already have and more that's coming along the way that will help improve the productivity and the profitability of your business. Finally, if you are interested in any consulting services from my firm in particular regarding AI, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. If you would like a copy of this PDF, feel free to reach out to me. This is my email address, gene@marksgroup.net. So send me an email and I'll be happy to answer any questions or send you a copy of this presentation. And I write for Forbes, but I also write every week for The Guardian, The Hill, The Washington Times, Chicago Daily Herald, The Philadelphia Inquirer, and Entrepreneur Magazine. So I cover public policy, the economy, workplace, and of course tech. So I cover a lot of different things. If you're a business and you want to keep up to date on all this stuff, because that's my job, you can follow me on Medium. It's genemarks.medium.com. I post everything I write from everywhere there, including whatever podcasts I'm doing and appearances I'm doing on national media as well. So feel free to follow me on Medium. I am done. I want to thank you guys very much for staying awake and paying attention. I hope I can come back to you sometime in the future and give you some more updates on how AI can improve your business as well as general technology. But in the meantime, go out and hopefully take some of the things I mentioned today, and I bet you it will help you in your business. So once again, thank you and take care.